This is Omari Hardwick. I'm on the set with these crazy people of I Will Follow. I think it's about following someone's gut, someone's heart. I think part of what makes this movie special is that it sort of speaks on all levels to all genres of people. It crosses color barriers or cultural, barriers, religious barriers, and everybody deals with loss and deals with it in their own personal way. And I think I Will Follow really stands for you following your heart, and what it says to do, how it says to react, to pain or to emotional trauma that you go through when you're dealing with loss. I think the I Will Follow in this sense is a lot about loss and what your heart says to do based on it. Troy is, a very, for lack of a better word, a simple cat. I think he's your everyday guy who really, he has perhaps lofty dreams and ideals of how he would like his life to go in terms of the wife and the kids and having that comfortable life and just peace and whatever would make him smile. But I don't think it's as extravagant as maybe a lot of men, even those that he works with. A lot of them have ideals of like an extravagant life, and they see themselves perhaps different or more than what they actually are, what the mirror tells them they are. I think he's very truthful with himself. I think he's someone who doesn't try to go above and beyond, but just, maybe for love he would, but as a man, in terms of doing manly things and being responsible, I think from day to day, he basically lives within his skin very, very well, knows who he is. He likes a woman. He likes a woman. I have to add that. He's a man who likes a woman. Sally Richardson is playing a character who definitely has gone through a very dark thing, a dark experience, via her aunt and her aunt's suffering and her own suffering, her own pain, and how she's reacted to it. And I think she's just trying to climb out of that. I think it speaks, specifically to a lot of sisters in the sense that oftentimes we, in the life that we live, whether it's work-wise, love-wise, financially, whatever the case may be, a lot of times sisters have strikes against them from the gate, And it's not necessarily the same strike that maybe the black man has. His is different. But a sister has a lot of difficulty at times, security-wise, in knowing how to back him and how to be strong for him. And I think she plays a character that just speaks to so many women in general, but specifically to sisters, and how when falling down, what really matters is, how well and how quickly perhaps you get up. Not necessarily to fall down, but how you get out of it. I think it's a beautiful character that she's playing. I think Sally's very equipped to play it. Sally Richardson is really great. She's someone personally who I've had a relationship with for about 7 or 8 years. Ironically, I know her husband separately and I know her separately, so I've benefited from having relationships with both of them, but always respected her as an artist. When I started, and I let sports go and started embarking upon my career as an actor, she was obviously one of, maybe 6 women of color who were out there as, as representative that I could look at, and that she definitely would be inclusive in that list, in the early 90s of the Holly Berrys and the Angela Bassett's, Loretta Devine, who, definitely all spoke different languages in different age ranges, but they all spoke basically the same language within the same skin color. And Sally was right there, and it's really a great thing for, at this point, now that I'm a working actor, 10 years later, from the first time that I probably saw her work, 10, maybe 15 years later, to be working with her. She's very generous, very open, not so rigid, and a lot of times you get an actor who's rigid in the text and rigid in what Ava has scripted, Ava being the director, and she's organic. You know, tennis is the sport that I liken to acting. It's tennis, and it's back and forth, and volleys back and forth, and she really is easy to hit with. So often you can get a project like I Will Follow, and it's a very easy yes. You know, it doesn't really matter what money or what budget, you know, the story is using. It's still a story that you would love to be a part of. And then you get a huge project that's going to be a blockbuster, and you're thinking, this is not necessarily the path that I wanted to take when I came out. You know, whether it represents your grandparents well or not, it's just something maybe that you didn't really ever see yourself doing, you know. So I think if the project is good, I think an artist should do it, you know. The actor often wants to do what they think an actor should do, but I think the artist looks at it in a way of, let me just work and make it meaningful, and somebody can walk away learning something from it. You look at a movie like Precious, and what it can teach you oftentimes is a lot more than G.I. Joe. But you can take the money that you make as an actor from G.I. Joe and, you know, tell the stories that you need to tell and feed some family members while doing it. So she's this renowned publicist who oftentimes, if you are of her gender and of her race, you at the most are a publicist for the individual client. But here she is manning an entire office who runs not individual clients, but clients within major big budget films. And that, you know, I felt like I should definitely be punished for not knowing who she was. It definitely bothered me. You know, it's a very small town, and it gets even smaller when you talk about people who look like you. And so she, with that being said, that life and that dedication to that life, obviously she has that for being a director and a potentially bigger director, but that's potential. I'm working with her, and I don't even necessarily smell simple potential. I smell like she is presently there as we speak. You know, she listens very well. I think a great director, the sign that they show is that they're not so totalitarian, and they definitely open to the actor and letting the actor be rebellious and in a good way with a cause. And she's a very assertive person, knows what she wants. That's key. You know, she listens to her DP very well and listens to everybody else, and just extremely humble. You know, just blown away anytime you get to meet somebody of her stature who's that humble and that forgiving and that open to whatever you have to say and whatever expertise you have to bring. You know, not arrogantly speaking, but whatever you've gained in life that she might not have gained, she's so open to, like, give it to me. So she's been quite a pleasant surprise. I obviously was a really good athlete, and my pops pushed that. You know, he raised 3 boys, so it was easy to kind of go with it. I was really good in sports. But by the time I was maybe a junior in high school, the bug came back, and I was doing plays in high school. And by the time I went to college, I was minoring in theater. I majored in broadcast journalism, but kind of to be in your world. And then I minored in theater. So I was playing sports. I was a lot bigger. I was probably 200 pounds, playing defensive back at University of Georgia, and would do a play. I was going and doing August Wilson pieces after the season would end. And, you know, there's athletes in the league now that used to definitely support me and laugh at me at the same time, like, what the hell are you doing? But I tried out for the NFL. I worked out with San Diego Chargers, and when that was short-lived, I just found my way back and was like, I think I really want to do this. And so I let the journalism go, and I thought, why not just go for it? I was 23 and young, so it came back full circle from the 5-year-old kid who wanted to try to go to Hollywood, and that wasn't happening no time soon. I guess 18 years later it happened.